Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the BUSR Summer Series. This time we're off to the land in the Far East. We're off to Thailand at the Buriram Circuit, also called the Chang International Circuit. It has two names. One is the sponsor name, one is the normal name. We are already started qualifying with our GT86s. It is the penultimate round, and as always, I am joined by Tom. Hello there, sir. How are you doing?
Hey Dan, yeah, not too bad, thank you. Yeah, very excited to see what will unfold here. Unfortunately, wasn't around for last race, but I understand there was a lot of carnage. But most importantly for this one is that we have a chance for Jack Nollert to wrap the championship up.
Yes, his season has been, I think, dominant would be the easiest word to use to describe it. He's just scored a podium at every round, a win at every round, bar two, which means that his championship lead is almost 100 points. It's very close. Oh, no, it is 101 points, sorry, over second place Aiden Larson, which means that he only needs to score 6 points. That's it. No matter what Aiden Larson does, Jack Noller only needs to score 6 points today, and we have points in qualifying. And guess how many points it is for pole position?
So yeah, really a chance to wrap it up, isn't it? To very early on, and to be honest, yeah, Jack Noll at the minute is, making those fortunes come true. A 10th to the good pole position and still improving on this current lap.
Yeah, he's pushing as hard as he can. Aiden there with the purple second sector shows that he's still got pace in him. There's sorry, Nolla got the purple second sector, just he can still improve. We saw lap times in the practice session in the 144.9 and below, so expect those lap times to come down, especially for Nolla and Aiden. Maybe we might see the appearance from Josh Woolley in the top half. He's not set a quick lap yet, but I expect to see him somewhere near the front, especially with his reduced ballast down to 20 kilos after missing a few rounds and having very low scoring rounds at Long Beach due to that aforementioned incident heavy pair of races. And there we go. Jack Noller with a 1:45.026 provisional pole extends his lead now up to 0.2 of a second.
Yeah, fantastic lap there by Jack Noller. Appearing to be just behind Aiden Larson there on the track map, so maybe might benefit off a little bit of toe off his, I suppose you could call it, championship rival. But like you said, 101 points apart. They may as well be fighting over different championships entirely at this point. But yeah, Jack Noller P1, Aiden Larson P2, Jake Ansell P3, Alex Hughes P4. Jake Ansell and Hughes, interesting to note, both aren't running any ballast at all, which we've seen in a couple of rounds so far this season. It has been a little bit of a talking point, especially on tracks like this, where, as you can see by the track map over there in the top right, there's a lot of straights. So it really does, it really does help or hinder the drivers having or not having ballast on tracks with long straights like this.
Absolutely. Just a quick word on the circuit. It may not be known to you if you only follow the car racing part of motorsport, as it doesn't host many international series, but it is a Grade 1 circuit, so it could do in the future. And there has been talks of series like Asian Le Mans Series coming here, and I think they have done in the past, along with things like Super GT and World Touring Cars. But it's mostly famous for holding MotoGP races, particularly in the last sort of 5 to 10 years. So it is primarily a bike track, but also suits these cars very well. Our lovely BUSR GR86s, you know them and you love them by now. Just over 300 horsepower from their hopped up tuned engines. 1.3 tons, depending on how much ballast you've got, of course. And it's a pretty long circuit. It's 4.6 kilometers, so it's our longest lap of the year in terms of distance, and also a lot of corners, particularly in that second and third sectors, round from the fast left at 4 all the way to the very tight corner of turn 12. There's turn 4 actually we're going through now. We're looking at Josh Woolley.
And call me controversial, but I do quite like to see cars such as the GR86s we've got around here racing at bike circuits, those that were designed primarily for bikes. You have to think about the likes of Qatar, for example, where that's produced some pretty decent racing in cars in the past, in F1 in seasons not too distant. But yeah, like you say, going to be an interesting track. This one, a lot of a lot of hairpins, so a lot of dive bomb opportunities. And even though we don't have the biggest grid today, only 18 cars or 17 cars, should I say, are registered in this qualifying session so far. I'm sure we're going to see excitement up and down the grid as we always do in this series.
Yeah, and as qualifying continues on, we see more and more excitement there as Josh Woolley jumps his car up to P2 on the grid. He would start on the front row alongside Jack Noller if the session was to end now. He is very, very close as well, just 1/10 back, a 1:45.1 for Woolley and a 1:45 dead-ish for Jack Noller. So they're definitely fighting at the front and expect that to carry on. Just a word on Long Beach now. We haven't mentioned it yet because we started in the session, but there was a lot of post-race penalties, quite a bit of shuffling up and down the grid. But the major talking point is the Italian defensive master, Andrea Ruggi, was heavily penalised for a slightly dodgy move on Owen Goldsmith. And then with that, he took the race lead, which was then penalised away. So Andrea Ruggi has got a race ban here, so he should not be appearing at the very least for the first race of the day. So that would be it's big consequences for his overall championship position, but more importantly in the open class championship, which he currently leads by just 20 odd points. So not a very big gap back to the number 67 car of Marek Wilman. So it's going to be very close between those two, I think, going forward, especially with this race ban.
Yeah, absolutely. And some other championships to look out for. You have the student championship as well, which is being led by Aidan Larson with Meet the Teacher, who got that win out in Long Beach last time round. So let's see if they can do anything to close that gap up to Aidan Larson, who really has to do everything in his power to at least remain in overall championship contention. But as it's looking so far, 2/10 off the pole time and sat in the pits, we might almost have to award this this overall championship to Jack Noller before the racing has even started. But it's got him down as leaving the pit box, so maybe 2 final flying laps from Aidan Larson can do something to topple the lap time of Jack Noller.
Yeah, just a reminder, this pole position is enough to seal it regardless of what Aidan does. He needs 6 points, and that is all that he needs. And he's currently cleared from Josh Woolley by a very small margin. Aidan Larson, though, is going to have to start worrying about another driver behind him now at this point. However, that driver is not here this weekend. So Meet the Teacher is not here, and he is currently the driver in third place overall. So that's given Aidan a bit of breathing room, so he really can focus ahead of him. He needs to score as many points as he can to build that gap back to Meet the Teacher after he inherited a race win at Long Beach due to penalties, the aforementioned penalties. Not there, not improving for the second sector, so this is not the best of laps for them. But Woolley is sort of holding an improvement through sectors 1 and 2. He goes purple in sector 2 actually, so there's a big improvement for him through there. We'll have to see if he can make this stick. If this lap time came through clean, he would be on pole position. He's coming around the penultimate set of corners through the turns of 10, 11, and then down to the big, very tight corner of 12. He'll be coming imminently. So there's 10, and then back through 11 onto the little sort of half straight. I'm not going to call it the back straight, but it's sort of a half straight, and then throwing his car down across the line. Imminently he will come.
Yeah, it does look to be a good lap time for Josh Woolley. Purple middle sector needs to get that foot flat to the floor coming out of the final turn, and indeed he does do a 44.9. First driver to break into the 44s with only 5 minutes left in this qualifying session. Jack Noller does not look to be on any representative laps at the moment, so let's see if he can respond to this improvement at the front.
Yeah, that was Woolley's first lap in the 44s of the session, but we know that Noller can do it. He was doing it in the practice sessions before the evening's racing action began, so he's got the lap time in him. His first sector was nothing to write home about on this lap, so he's going to have to pull it out of the bag through sector 2. Doesn't appear to be any car ahead of him to get a slipstream off either, whereas the cars behind him are getting a slipstream, even if it's only subtle.
And yeah, in terms of, I suppose, qualifying strategy for this one, it's Josh Woolley who's been out lap after lap, who's set the pole position time. Every other driver down the field, apart from Rao Yagash and Adam Bent, have come into the pits at least once to change tyres, maybe to top up on fuel. So it's really interesting seeing the different types of strategies being carried out here, as we see Josh Woolley again fastest in that middle sector. he really does like that middle sector. But yeah, Jack Noller, a phrase that we've not really uttered this season, does not look like he is improving and will improve up to first. This current lap is some 3/10 off his personal best, but there's still a couple of minutes to go left in this one. I wouldn't put it past him to pull something out the bag towards the end of this qualifying session.
Absolutely, we always expect the absolute maximum from our drivers here. They've got no reason not to push. Of course, the benefits of sim racing being that if you smack a wall, you bounce off and you carry on. And there Wooly goes. He improves once again. Another 10th found for the man from Poole. He puts his lap time to a 1:44.8. That is the challenge that Noller has to beat. He's got 4 minutes to do it in. It's a 1:45 lap time, so he's not got very long. 2, maybe 3 laps, depending on when and where he cuts the beam, and if he takes a cool down lap or if he just runs straight and fast. He's just about on sort of matched his personal best for the first sector, so not the optimal time we can expect more. We know he can do more. We'll have to hope he can produce that lap time going forward. He's now coming down the middle straight again. Is this the back straight? I don't quite know. It's a bit weird, this track, in that regard. Through the very flat left-hander, a very fast left-hander of 4. There's a very slight breeze, but so it shouldn't affect the drivers too much. Into the double left of 5 and 6 he goes. He's coming through, should be breaking the beam on the second sector any second now. There it is. It's greens in the second sector, but only by a smidgen. So he's still down on his personal best. It needs to be a magical third sector from the McLaren driver if he's going to put his Toyota, don't ignore the conflict of interest, to the end of the lap. He's coming up round turn 8. Now he's going to come through to take, so that's turns at 10, 11, 12, at 10 and 11, onto the next of the little straight and down towards the tight turn of 12. If he takes pole position, he gets the championship. And if he beats Aiden Larson, that's pretty much the same thing. So here we go, into the last corner, round he goes. He was matching his personal best throughout most of the lap. He needs a mighty braking zone if he's going to do it. And it's not quite pole position, down by 0.04 of a second from Noller. He's got 2 laps tops if he wants to take pole position from Josh Woolley.
Yeah, well, the gap's getting closer and closer, isn't it, out there? But, you know, you can't forget about Aiden Larson. They're doing a purple final sector. No improvement on that lap time of a 1:45.2. However, that does really throw a spanner into the works for the likes of Jack Noller and Josh Woolley, because can Aiden Larson pull something out the bag at the very last minute? Well, Josh Woolley has immediately responded with a purple first sector, so the answer we would be saying to that is no. But yeah, it does look like there could be a 3-way fight for this pole position here, and boy have they left it late to do it.
Yeah, this is one of our most competitive qualifyings of the season. We're seeing purple sectors coming in all over the place. Josh Woolley's 27.492 is well clear of whatever his rivals are doing at the moment, but Noller is improving in the middle sector on his personal best, but it's not a purple, so we'll have to see if he can improve even more going forwards. The gaps are minuscule between our top 3, and don't forget about Owen Goldsmith and Jay Council. They're both within their 7/10. Alex Hughes within a second, Jordan Pinnock within a second of the pole position. He's been a very good driver in the last few rounds, really on the up. He'll be hoping to score more points now. Aiden Larson, he's coming around the top part, the second lump of this circuit. I can't really describe this track with any metaphors because it's just such a unique looking circuit, particularly that hairpin at turn 3. But here we go, Aiden coming through the last set of fast corners. Now he comes. His lap time currently not an improvement, so we'll have to see if he can pull out something mighty on the brakes into the final corner to improve his position. The Australian, he's fought so well over a season, marred by difficulty and inconsistency and mainly incidents, as Josh Woolley sets an equivalently faster lap time. Incredible.
Yeah, just when you thought he couldn't improve anymore, he's done it again. And Jack Noller, crucially on that lap, no improvement for the Brit. So unless he really does find something on this final lap, and it will be his final lap, I believe that would be a Josh Woolley pole position, which, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this might be the first pole position for Josh Woolley this season so far.
Yes, it would be his first pole position. He was on the front row at Okayama, started near the front at Snetterton and again at Long Beach, but has not managed to get a pole position in this championship just yet. I'm just checking my record to see if he has any in the past. Doesn't say. No idea. He might have done. I think he did. He probably did. Feels likely. He won both the races in the opening round of the TCR series, so I feel like pole position was there. But it will be his first one of the season, regardless of how inaccurate and useless my personal records are. As Aiden's in the pit lane, his qualifying is over. It is down to our front two now. Jack versus Josh. Four-letter J names going at each other. Hell for leather around the Buriram circuit, the Chang International Circuit, whatever you want to call it. It's got 12 corners and a massive battle of coming up. Jack Noller towards the line now. He comes very shortly. He's coming into the last corner now, the very tight braking zone, very tight corner of turn 12. Through he goes, leaning on those GR brakes as hard as he can. Little twitch on the exit, not optimal. His lap time, though, does not look like it's going to be an improvement. It is not an improvement for Jack Noller. That is his qualifying over. Josh Woolley is as good as set for pole as he improves his lap time, a 1:44.6 from Woolley. Now that is what pace and practice does for a man. 1:44.6. He's easily clear now of the cars behind. Noller should be pitting. There he is. That's your top four in the pit lane. Raul Llagas breaks the beam. It will be breaking the beam very shortly, I'd imagine. I'm not quite sure why he's so far around. But regardless, that is pole position for Josh Woolley. Second place for Jack Noller. Third for Aiden Larson. Fourth for Jake Ansell. I believe that's good enough, at least tentatively, for Jack Noller's overall championship to be sealed. But we'll have to see. I mean, I hope we haven't got the permutations to quite that level of accuracy. Apologies for that. We'll have to crown him champion, assuming he scores any points in the race, which with only 17 entrants feels rather likely.
Yeah, absolutely. And, no disrespect to Woolley out there, but I think you'd have to call that a surprise pole position as we see Raul Llagas going for a little bit of a spin. I expect that would be a reset back to the pits for him. But yeah, I suppose a surprise pole position in what has been a season really dominated by Jack Noller so far. Could it have something to do with the ballast? Well, with a gap of about 2/10, I would say not. But as we've seen in the past with tracks that we've run, such as the Snetterton 200, which comes to my mind, kind of out of all the tracks we've run this season, where ballast really was a little bit of an issue for our drivers. But I suppose we'll have to see how that happens. How that happens in the race, if Noller can catch up to Woolley at all. But yeah, really, I'm sure Josh Woolley there will be incredibly pleased with what is his first pole position of the season.
Yes, I'm sure he will be. He's always been an enthusiastic racer. He is our BUSR overlord and in control, but has yet to win a title. And this season, that is pretty much now out of the question. So he's going to have to keep going and race again in our winter season. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. More information coming soon on that one. But it is a great race for the dress-up darling cars. They've got 1 and 3 on the grid, so I'm sure they'll be very, very happy with that. And Jack Noller, of course, should be reasonably happy with his P2. He doesn't need to come first in every single session to win the championship. We believe he has already won it. We are checking the permutations now behind the scenes, but regardless, he is as good as clear now, unless he basically doesn't turn up to a single session and gets multiple penalties and we find out that he's been cheating and using car enhancing drugs. That's basically championship sealed for him, which means our attention now turns to the BUSR's coveted student class championship between Aiden Larson and Meet the Teacher, who is not here, and our alumni championship, where Jack Noller is very much clear already as well.
Yeah, I suppose this race in Meet the Teacher's place, we have, of course, Ben Gilroy sat in third place. But yeah, a slightly disappointing qualifying for him down in 9th place. It is a top 10 still, so with the prospect of the reverse grid, there still could be a reverse grid pole or a very good result, very good starting position, should I say, in the second race of the evening. But yeah, really, I suppose it's Aiden's to lose this student championship, and I would say it's Jack Noller's championship to lose. But honestly, unless he throws a brick through his monitors and then can't race, which would be a real shame and also unfortunate, I don't really envision a circumstance where he will not be taking the championship come the end of this race.
Absolutely. It seems almost inevitable. It may well already be inevitable, but we'll come back to that in the future. We've got two races coming up shortly. You can see the clock on the left-hand side there ticking down nicely. So we should have our cars on circuit very, very soon for the first of our two races. It's traditional BUSR Assetto Corsa races, 20 minutes plus one lap, and then we reverse the top 10, and then we go again for race number 2. Another championship to consider is, of course, the Teams Championship. The dress-up darlings are in second place, and they are only just behind the boy band, of which most of their drivers are not here this week. We knew we weren't going to expect them. So Nola, I believe, is flying basically solo for that team this week. So he is going to have to put in a pretty impressive stint to fight off both of the dress-up darling cars if they want to keep their lead in the team's championship, with third place being well clear. It is really a job between those two.
And yeah, there really is ample opportunity on this track to play the team strategy. We've seen that in a couple of races before. I believe it was Autopolis or the round before, where we managed to see some of our teams linking up well. I believe it was Raul Yagas who was the beneficiary of those team plays. But yeah, with dress up darlings P1 and P3, same side of the grid, there could be some teamwork done here to keep Jack Noller off the top step of the podium come the end of this race.
Absolutely. They're going to try as hard as they can to keep him there, not least for the team's championship now, which is mainly where their attention will be focused. But it's still going to be a rough one, I think. It's a nice open track, though, so we shouldn't see too many multi-car pileups. There's a lot of runoff here because, of course, it is a Grade 1 circuit in real life, which means it has to have lovely big gravel traps to avoid people from hurting themselves too badly. Of course, these are sim racing cars, so not quite the same, but never mind. We've got a nice grid here of all of our cars lined up, ready to go. The cars at the back did have a qualifying ban, hence why they are right at the back with no lap time set. Just a quick word on those after crashes at Long Beach. But we will get racing nice and shortly. The main talking point is, can Jack Noller seal his championship off with a win immediately in round 1, or can Josh Woolley get his first race win in quite a while, to be honest? It would be his first win since Snetterton and his first podium since Lithuania. We will go racing very shortly here for this round, well, it's round 1 of the day in round 7 of the season of the BUSR at the Chang International Circuit. We've got the red lights at the front of the grid ready to go on. Our drivers are there ready to go, but just revving their engines, getting warmed up, making sure the car is perfectly primed. Here we go. 4, 5, maybe 6 red lights on at Chang International Circuit. It's lights out and away they roll at a very good speed. The dress-up darling cars at the front, and Jack Noller as the rest of the grid gets away on the short run down towards turn 1. Josh Woolley leads into turn 1. As we see, Jack Noller falls into line behind him. Aidan Larson couldn't get the jump into the top 2 off the start, but he's still holding the back there. But Jack Noller with the impressive toe down the very long, big back straight here. He's looking up the inside. Woolley tries to defend it. He goes wide to run the racing 9. Noller is up the inside, and there's lots of room being given between the two.
Yeah, fantastic start there for Jack Noller, just hanging onto the toe off the back of Josh Woolley there. As I believe we've gone back to BBC Radio 5 Live, but yeah, we'll keep you up to date here. So yeah, it's still Josh Woolley in the lead. Noller didn't manage to make the move stick. Aidan Larson managed to close up and is hot on his heels.
And yes, Owen Goldsmith is dragging them through. Their cars are in this little pack of 4 at the front. We've got contact between Jake Ansell and Owen Goldsmith, and we've got multiple cars going a little bit awry around the back half of this track. But Noller still leads. I believe Noller is still leading Larson, but Woolley is ahead of both of them. Goldsmith has managed to stay roughly in the top 4 according to our timing screens. We'll have the stream back up shortly, we promise. The grid staying nice and compact. The front group staying very close as we've got some of the back markers starting to spread out as we thought they might do. But Woolley still leads Noller, still leads Larson, then a gap to Goldsmith, and then back to the battle pack, if you like, of Hughes, Ansell, Gilroy, and Pinnock, with Kessas just tagging on the rear of them. Lap 1 is complete and Woolley's still leading.
Yeah, and it's been a terrible opening lap for Raul Yagas, dropped all the way down to last place, more or less, as we see some amounts of contact going into the final corner. But yeah, it's It looks like a bit of a drafty track, this one. There was a lot of slipstreaming down into that turn 3 hairpin, and I'm sure on the following laps we're going to be seeing a lot of cars fighting for real estate in the first couple sectors of this lap.
There we go. There's a move thrown on the inside for Jack Noller. Couldn't quite make it stick, but that is just showing you that despite having basically an entire Josh Woolley's worth of weight in his passenger seat, he is still quite happy just free. That's 50 kilos, by the way. I'm not calling Josh Woolley fat. Aiden Larson nice and close behind, though, with a little bit of a gap back to Owen Goldsmith in 4th. Our current defending champion in the alumni class is fighting tooth and nail to keep hold of that, even though he is pretty well behind Jack Noller overall. But never mind that. Just a reminder, Jack Noller is your championship winner overall already, and he would wrap up the alumni one pretty happily if he continues to score this strong. But Woolley still leads the Dress Up Darling cars, still harassing Noller behind there of Aiden Larson.
Yeah, and really it's a battle pack of 4 at the front now. There's a 2-second gap that's really stretched out to Jay Cancel down in 5th place, and then a sort of between 1 and 1.5 second gap back again to the 3rd Dress Up Darling car of Ben Gilroy. But yeah, back at the front, these three, the top 3, Josh Woolley, Jack Noller, Aiden Larson, can really make life difficult for one another with, dive bombs galore, I'm expecting, as the gap has seemingly opened up nice and wide. Was that a mistake by Jack Noller in the final corner?
It certainly looked like one. He's dropped right back from Josh Woolley. The gap now on our timing reading is over 2.5 seconds. That's a very uncharacteristic mistake from him. Aiden Larson now very much within biting range. But if you start to look at the track map, you can see the car of the Purple 1 car has got a substantial lead over this big long Noller train as Goldsmith begins to look at the inside of Aiden Larson into the turn 3 hairpin. Peak overtaking opportunity given the slipstream effect on cars this powerful, but Aiden appears to have kept the position around the outside of Goldsmith, not quite got the overlap to make the overtake. And look at that, Jay Cancel's now just in behind us. Ben Gilroy in 6th place, scoring strong points for the Dress Up Darlings team. Here we go, Goldsmith trying to go around the outside, well, what will become the outside, into turn 4. He's on the rumble strips, on the turn into the corner. Aiden's got the inside line, just runs away with it. The shorter line wins. And look, that's what Ansel's been very opportunistic there. He's found the gap up the inside. Let's keep this clean with the side-by-side racing. Just what we love to see there as Ansel goes through on Goldsmith.
Crucially, up in front, that gap has come down all the way to just under half a second. So I wonder here if maybe there was contact between the top 2, and maybe Josh Woolley was just letting him back through, as we see a spinning Jay Cancel there out of turn 8. But the only thing I can think about that has caused this gap to shrink so much is, was there contact between the 2? Did Josh Woolley maybe feel at fault and have to give the position back? I mean, I think that will have to be for the stewards to review, but nevertheless, the gap has indeed closed massively from nearly 3 seconds at the start of this lap. But maybe there was a mistake in there from Josh Woolley, and this seemingly fairly simple, fairly straightforward track could be catching out some of our drivers today.
Yeah, and just a word on that, it appears that Josh Woolley's 2nd sector was very, very slow. Maybe that's a mistake, we don't know, but Owen Goldsmith has rejoined in 7th place now. He is well down on where he was before, now chasing his teammate of Jordan Pinnock. These two have been racing each other for many seasons. They know each other very well. That will affect how they drive. It will affect the respect they give each other, particularly in terms of championship considerations. Both of them fighting for class championships and the like. But Owen Goldsmith just makes the move up the inside. He evidently has the pace over Pinnock. Maybe there were some team orders behind the scenes that we don't know about, but he is now through into 6th place and chasing down Alex Hughes in 5th place. But Jordan Pinnock appears to have the run on him down towards turn 4. They're now side by side at the entry point. There's a little bit of squeezing from Owen, but just enough room given. He now slots back into 6th place and can begin his charge back up towards the podium positions. Now, if you see this fighting behind there, you can see Jay Cancel. He's really struggled after that accident to make up any ground on Kessus, but he's hoping to make places up. But he's currently in 9th place, which would be a strong finish for him, but not as strong as he'd hoped for, I don't think.
And one of the drivers who really hasn't managed to recover that pace after Jack Noller's spin or the contact out of the final corner is Aiden Larson, who you might remember got backed up all the way into that battle pack of sort of Ben Gilroy, Alex Hughes, that massive gaggle of cars, and Jack Noller has kind of just pulled away from him. The gap last lap was almost around a second, and it's now extended again to about a second and a half, and he's really missing out on the benefits of the tow here, which Jack Noller will be using to great effect to catch back up to Josh Woolley. And Josh Woolley out in front, as I always mention about ballast, running 30 kilograms lighter, as we see a three-way battle there into I believe that's turn 1 between Adam Bent, Jake Ansell and John B.
Yes, John B is on the Team Penske 2, which is Adam Bent's team. So this is like watching a Red Bull driver fight a V-carb driver, but in BUSR terms, Adam Bent there in the number 3 car, braking later than the number 88 of John B. But they are now side by side on the way into the corner. There's a little bit of argy-bargy, and John B goes through. But look at that behind them. That is the number something or other of car of Ashevi. They've not been here for most of the season. They arrived last time out, and they're already battling inside the top 10. That would be reverse grid pole for Ashevi if they can hold off the rest of the cars for the rest of the race. So they've still got quite a long way to go.
Yeah, and all eyes focused on defence really for Ashevi. There's a 5-second gap out in front, so unless a mistake out of one of our drivers in front occurs, which we've seen a couple drivers fall foul of this Chang International Circuit so far, but yeah, really can be pulling out some defensive moves here and not having to worry about catching the pack out in front.
Yeah, it's nice to not have to worry about the cars in front, particularly if you don't need to worry about championship position like Ashley. A big twitch there from the green and white Toyota means that John B is now just underneath the rear wing. He's very, very close. He's going to be pushing as hard as he can. Noller sets the fastest lap on his charge. We're looking at John B now, who's weaving all over the road to try and find space. Ashley has given it, but not quite enough to see. Is he going to be able to make the move? Yes, he got through there. No, he's not. Sorry, that's the wrong car we're looking at there. He's still behind. Apologies for that mistake.
Yeah, back out in front. Josh Woolley setting down. I believe that's the fastest. No, Jack Noller, sorry, setting down the fastest lap of the race. So closing right back up to Josh Woolley. They're out in front there. You see them tied together. Aidan Larson in the background, still 1.6, 1.7 seconds off the pace. Although it must be noted that he is mighty quick through the middle sector. I believe it was a purple sector for him last lap, but really Jack Noller doesn't appear to be making too much progress, as we've seen so much this season. Especially in the reverse grid, you'd be seeing Jack Noller almost like the shark in Jaws chasing down his competitors, but really this gap's kind of stabilised around half a second, maybe creeping under at some points, but really the gap needs to be 0.2 of a second to even consider a lunge into one of the many hairpins around this Chang circuit. But while we wait for Jack Noller to make his approach on Josh Woolley, we come back here to this battle for 6th place. Pinnock, Goldsmith from Kessus, and then Ansell.
Yes, side by side between the teammates briefly there of Goldsmith and Pinnock with Kessus. Just behind them, these guys have been fighting ferociously over that 6th place. Alex Hughes really being gifted 5th place by this tussle. Kessus is a driver we haven't really seen much of this season, but they'll have a little bit quieter than they were last year. But they're making all the right noises and all the right moves right now there as Goldsmith gets into the back of Pinnock too late on the brakes. Kessus goes through them both. Excellent move for Kessus, very opportunistic for them to dive through both there. That was not smooth, particularly between the teammates. And look who's there, Jake Ansell, very much picking up the pieces that were left behind by the Penske teammates crash. Kessus now leads Ansell, and there's Goldsmith pulling over to the side, I think, to let Pinnock through, admitting his mistake, getting out of the way. How very polite, how very gentlemanly. That's just what we like to see. If you make a mistake, own up to it and carry on racing hard.
But yeah, what a self-inflicted incident that was. Just too deep, too late on the brakes for Owen Goldsmith, and from the front of that battle pack they've shuffled all the way to the rear. But fortunately Jake Ansell is keeping tabs on Kessus, so hopefully they can slipstream each other back into fighting for that 6th place. But yeah, really unfortunate incident there for the Team Penske teammates.
Yes, and just a word on the Penske team. Oh, a very late lunge there for Jordan Pinnock. Couldn't quite make it stick. Run very wide. Kessler's there playing the defensive game. The Penske team are fighting for the team's championship. They currently sit in 4th place, just behind the Job Well Done team. Job Well Done is the team consisting of Raul Yagas, Dystopian, and Meet the Teacher not here. Raul Yagas very, very far back in 14th, Dystopian only just ahead in 13th, so they're not scoring particularly any points of really of note, especially given that Dystopian is defending student class champion. But the cars of Pinnock and the car of Goldsmith are both at the front, and even Adam Bent is outscoring Dystopian and Raul Yagas. So this will be a humongous haul of points now as the 2 Penske team cars get close once again. These guys are playing fast and loose. It's like proper racing between teammates is fine, as long as you don't break the golden rule of motorsport, which is if you're going to hit someone, don't hit your teammate.
And really, you'd think after that earlier contact, Owen Goldsmith would be a lot more careful with the application of the brakes going into some of these hairpins, but doesn't seem to have affected him one little bit as we continue to focus on this battle, because crucially Jack Noller has not really closed that much on Josh Williams, not really made any inroads there whatsoever. Last time we checked, the gap was out about half a second, and now a couple laps later, 0.6 of a second, really no progress made. And Aidan Larson as well, the one person you'd expect who would maybe catch back up to this battle. Again, 0.2 drop since the last time we checked in on our top 3. So, you know, with 6 minutes left in this race, they're going to have to get a move on to really be putting some moves on one another. But is it the ballast that's affecting these guys? Maybe the slipstream hasn't been as effective as we're seeing further back in the pack, but yeah, as we see, Aidan Larson really extended the track limits there. But you know, maybe the game allows for that. This is a motorbike track after all. But yeah, Josh Woolley just needs to really keep his eyes on the road, not make any more slip-ups, and he should be pretty good as things stand to keep Jack Noller behind in 2nd place.
Yeah, Woolley's lap times have been consistent and consistently happy there. He actually goes faster again with a 1:44.8. That is faster than anything Noller has produced all race, and is pretty much on pace with his qualifying lap time, which is very impressive. After 15 minutes of racing, he's still going to have fuel for another 6 or 7 minutes, so nice and strong performances from him. A lot of our drivers up and down the grid settling into a bit of a rhythm now. John B still behind Ashervy, with Adam Bent still behind him. Those 3 haven't changed order in the last 10 minutes or so since we saw them, so they've sort of settled. And you have to think, this late in the championship, this late in the season, if you're not going balls to the walls for a race win, you are thinking about championship positions, particularly John B, who is thinking about Team Penske too, and Adam Bent himself, the team principal at Team Penske. He will be massively thinking about the team's championship. Ashery, however, has got nothing to lose. He is a solo driver, but hasn't driven much of the season, so he can just go as fast as he damn well pleases.
Yeah, absolutely, and might be time to put out some pretty solid defences to get that pole position for the second race of this evening. As yeah, back about at the front, Aidan Larson setting another purple middle sector. We said he just liked that middle sector, but again, really no meaningful improvements in lap time. But yeah, just looking down the field, really, you see Owen Goldsmith now sort of bottled up behind Jordan Pinnock, who's dropped back from Jake Ansel and Kessler. So really, for the Team Penske team, it has cost them that piece of contact, as they sort of both haven't been able to catch back up to this battle for 6th place. I'm sure Kessler will be very pleased to have benefited so much from that one. As was that a change for the lead or just a glitch in? I believe that was just a glitch in our timing screens. It's very close to the back of Kessler comes Jake Ansel into the final corner.
Yes, that is a very, very close moment there. A little bit of a squeaky bum time for Jake Ansel and Kessler there, very nearly contact, which would have massively benefited those aforementioned Pinnock Goldsmith teammates. But never mind, the racing is still lovely and clean now. Ansel in the slipstream. We're coming down the big long back straight. You can see it there down the left hand side of the track map. It is an absolute whopper of a straight, nearly a kilometre in length. Here we go, Ansel, he's looking up the inside onto the brakes, and there they go, stomping on the left hand pedal. They go round the hairpin of turn 3. The car's still very, very close, but he can't quite make the move just yet on the exit. He's not got any sort of major run down the second back straight into the fast left turn 4, but he's looking around the outside. Kesser's on the inside, Jake Ansell on the outside. Here we go, the front wheel is overlapping with the back wheel, but wisely he backs out of it as Kesser runs very, very wide there, gone off track it would appear, and there's car off sideways. There was contact between Ansell and Kesser, and there's more contact behind, which, look at that, the Team Penske cars have suddenly caught back up again, and the fight is on for 6th. It's gone from a 2-car fight with Ansell and Kesser to a 4-car fight with Kesser still leading. I'm sure the stewards will be asking for the onboard footage of that one come the end of the race.
Yeah, what a swap in fortune for Owen Goldsmith and Jordan Pinnock. Maybe feeling slightly less bad about that piece of contact earlier, as they are both now in with a shot of this P6 with what I believe will probably be 2 laps to go at the end of this lap. So yeah, they really have the opportunity to play the team game here on Kessers, who has no support at all. As what a late dive into turn 12 that was from Jordan Pinnock. That was very handily done. Late on the brakes, but no contact, as he does indeed get the draft for turn 1 and move done. And there we are, Owen Goldsmith sneaking through again at turn 1. So yeah, really playing the team game there on Kessis. Does he have damage? Has he just got a really bad exit out of all these corners? He seems to be dropping like a stone here.
Absolutely, this is very uncharacteristic from Kessler. We're used to strong defence and wheel-to-wheel action, but he is dropping down. He's lost another place to Jake Ansell now. That's basically 6th place to 9th in 3 corners or so. Really, you could argue it was basically 2 of them, but he's very much compromised. Maybe he has damage, maybe he's running low on fuel and having to lift and coast, but whatever it is, he's not up to his usual pace. He's having a look up the inside on Ansell. Is he going to make the late dive bomb? He's side by side as we come towards the apex. He's through at turn 4. Very lovely move from Kessers, and then just sort of parks it on the exit, slowing Ansell down, giving him the breathing room into 5, but he runs very wide, well outside of track limits, and then cuts back on. Then Ansell's now at the inside. You should imagine Ansell will go through here, if not for fairness' sake, but Kessers is fighting back through 6 and 7. They're side by side on the exit, and there's very nearly contact between the back corner of the Alien Attack car and the front corner of the RevSport car, and there is nose to tail contact very softly between the 2 of them. And look at that, it's Ashervy, and just arriving on the scene.
And opportunistic is going to be the word of the day today, I think. So yeah, Ashervy really taking this battle to gain some positions. And what I was saying earlier about them being 5 seconds off this train, and look how quickly they've caught up. So it really does show that, yeah, you just have to be careful with how much you're battling, especially when it's for the prestigious pole position and reverse grid places at the end of this race. But I believe we're now running on to the final lap. Is very close there at the apex turn 1 to crash into the back of that lapped car. But yeah, this is where the main flashpoint is going to be on this final lap.
Yeah, indeed it is, Tom. We've got 2 laps to go. The leader coming through the end of Sector 1 and into Sector 2 now they go. We're watching Kessers look back at this excellent side-by-side action. Ashervy, though, in only their 2nd round of the season, sends it up the inside of one of our regulars, Jake Ansell, who scored strong points, but he's not having the day that he was hoping for now. Has dropped down to that reverse grid pole position. He's closing up quickly, though. There's a very small gap there. Then there's a very slightest overlap between the 2. The Toyota car and the RevSport car now side by side on the way down to the braking zone into turn 4, and through Ansell, back through Ansell goes, back up into 9th place. Ashervy has another look up the inside. It's tight but not contact between the 2 of them. They put the power down through 5 and then through 6 on the exit as they go up towards, I believe this is turn 7 now. Ansell is back ahead of Ashervy, but Ashervy is not giving up. These guys are fighting corner after corner. This is perfect wheel-to-wheel racing. Ashervy sends it out the inside, runs it too deep on the brakes, gets off, and look, there's John B coming through on the inside. Opportunistic once again. Word of the day. He has snuck through from 11th to 9th in 1 corner. Well done, John B. And Ashervy is gone. Ashervy is faded fast. There was a mistake, but I didn't see any contact pop up. That must have been a spin on their own, or maybe they just dropped it on the curb and just got flicked around on the grass, but whatever it was, John B up to 9th, Jake Ansell back down to 10th place. The leader is on the final lap and just about to cross the end of the first sector as this battle pack crosses the line to start their final lap, but Nolla, his nose to tail with Woolley on the last lap.
Yeah, somehow managed to close half a second on that lap to Josh Woolley did Jack Noller. I feel that must have been a mistake from the man in P1. So yeah, commentator's curse really coming home to roost in this one as yeah, defensive to the inside for this long sweeping left-hander of turn 4. And then the double apex kind of corner of 5 and 6. As yeah, Jack Noller sending down the inside, a bit unstable under the brakes, gets the move done. But I believe Josh Woolley will sweep back on the inside, and this is going to come right down to the wire now as they enter the final sector of the final lap of this first race.
Yeah, that was a very opportunistic move from Jack Noller, and one that he knew he wasn't going to be able to keep, but he had to make it if he wanted the race win, which of course he does. Even though he's already won the championship with this drive, he had to make the move just for his own ego, if nothing else. Here we go, the driver's now coming very much into that final section of notable fast corners through 10 and then through 11 onto this very short run down to the last corner. Woolley is still leading. Assuming both drivers get their braking points right, this should be the race win sealed for the Dress Up Darlings team. They're very close on the apex, but Woolley powers out of the final corner to take his first race win since Snetterton. Josh Woolley wins race number 1 of the day ahead of Jack Noller. Aiden Larson should take the pole, should take third place across the line. There we go, that's been confirmed in our timing as Alex Hughes just about defends from Ben Gilroy over the line to take an impressive P4. One of the best finishes of the season, if not the best finish of the season for Alex Hughes. Ben Gilroy though scoring strong points for the Dress Up Darlings team. Owen Goldsmith did get home in 6th, Jordan Pinnock in 7th, strong points for Team Penske. Kessos in 8th, then Jay Council 9th. John B will be your reverse grid poleman in 10th place, ahead of Dystopian and Ashavi in 11th and 12th. Adam Bent scores points in 13th, Bailey scores points in 15th, and Raul Llagas, after a very disappointing race for our Autopolis race winner, he comes home in 15th, and Sam Knight will bring up the rear of the pack in 16th, and then Darzai is our final finisher in P17. There we go with Darzai across the line. I'm not sure what's happened to Sam. He hasn't crossed the line on our timing, but there we go. There is Sam, I believe, coming around the last corner. Must have made a mistake there for here. An unfortunate return for such a BUSR regular. The Castrol car crosses the line to finish off the race.
Yeah, and really we had to wait a while for the entertainment out at the front of this one. Really a mistake, I think, from Josh Woolley on the final or penultimate lap, I should say, really brought Jack Noller into the fight, and try he did with that, pretty opportunistic lunge into the turn 5, turn 6 left-hander, but yeah, nothing doing, and Josh Woolley takes his first pole to race win of the season. I'm sure he will be very pleased with that one.
And just a word on the man in second place. We have had it confirmed by the stewards that Jack Noller is officially your BUSR Winter Series Summer Series, good gosh, the weather, overall champion. He has sealed it with that P2. We thought he'd sealed it after qualifying, but it is undeniably sealed after P2. There we go. He's returned to the BUSR after a few years away. The driver in that orange papaya car has beaten Aiden Larson to the overall championship. Jack Noller is champion, confirmed 100%. Aiden is now fighting for P2 and for student class honours, of which both times he is competing against Meet the Teacher, who is not present. So big points for him are helpful, especially if Josh Woolley can also score big points for the team. And Owen Goldsmith scoring big points for his team, along with Ben Gilroy and Jordan Pinnock. So a great day. A great race one, for Penske and for Dress Up Darlings, but a disappointing race for the Job Well Done team, of which Dystopia is part of. And then we have Kessos, who also scored strong points in that race, and we're hoping to improve on that in race 2, which will be starting very shortly. I believe there will be a sponsor video coming soon, but I don't know when. Yeah, we'll go sponsor video now then. Seems like a good enough time. We've got a little bit of a gap between our two races. Hello everyone and welcome back. We are getting cars on the grid for race number 2 of the day. We are at Thailand. We have already crowned our champion. We saw Josh Woolley return to the top step of the podium in that last race. Aiden Larson scoring the final one of the podium there with the 3rd place finish. Kessus with a open class victory as well. So a great race from him. Sees him line up 3rd on the grid. But it is John B who lines up for reverse grid pole position ahead of the Englishman in the Rev Sport car, Jake Ansell. Kessus will line up in 3rd place. Jordan Pinnock and then Owen Goldsmith in 4th and 5th. They're going to hope to score more points in the team's championship battle. Ben Gilroy lines up ahead of his last race rival Alex Hughes and his teammate Aiden Larson. And then Jack Noller should be appearing on the grid shortly, unless he is choosing to start this one from the pit lane or something odd, which we have seen in the past. Okay, we've lost broadcast again, but we're going to keep chatting. Just a word on Grid Finder. Tom, do you want to do the Grid Finder bit this time?
No.
Cool. Grid Finder, it's our series sponsor. They've been with us for many seasons now. They are the best place to find information on the BUSR. If you're looking to join, they're a wonderful organization. They host races for all different kinds of cars, for all different games, for all different levels of ability. So feel free to come and find us on Grid Finder, and then you can join in. Maybe not this season, but you can definitely join in on our off-season events. These are one-off events run at random circuits in random cars, picked by our organisers and voted for by the community. So if you have a suggestion, come along and ask, or maybe we'll just race your vintage sports cars at Mallory Park, for example, or whatever it is that floats your sim racing boat. We'd love to have you. Also, we have got lots of availability if you want to come and join the broadcast team, the social team, or just want to hang out. So come and find us on Grid Finder and join in with the BUSR. We will have racing in the new season, which will start sometime in late September, I'd imagine, or October. More information to follow soon. But the cars are on the grid for race number 2 of the day here at the Buriram Chang International Circuit in Thailand. As we get ready, the lights are coming on, the engine revs are rising, the drivers, they look forward, they breathe, they take a moment to consider what they need to do to score the best position and the best points they can. It's lights on in Thailand for the 2nd time in the day. Rock and roll, let's go racing with the BUSR in their GR86 Cup cars. It's a good start from the front row of the grid there. Kessus also with a blistering start, appears to already be looking at the front as everyone gets away cleanly down towards turn 1. It's not a long run, but John B does lead into it. But Kessus, Jake and Jake Ansell are side by side on the exit down towards turn 3, the very long back straight towards the hairpin. There's been a massive crash behind. We've got Ben Gilroy and Ashavi off of the back of the pack there. One of the Hugheses, I think it's Alex, also involved as John B leads into turn 3 with Jordan Pinnock there getting the best start out of the front runners from the last race. The jump up to P2, Kessus up to P4, Jack Noller up to P5 as well, as we see John B continues to lead the pack away at the start of the lap with a second gap back to Jordan Pinnock. They're side by side between Bensky and Dress Up Darlings in the middle of the pack there. That's Goldsmith and Woolley, two very good friends in real life, and now turned rivals through turn 4 as Aiden Larson follows on behind.
Yeah, already up to P4 is Jack Noller, and we're not even halfway through the opening lap. So yeah, really was opportunistic for, as again we use the word of the day, opportunistic on that opening lap, to make up as many positions as possible. So yeah, really now is the question of his ability to hold off Aiden Larson. Josh Woolley surprisingly didn't actually get the best start, which you would have expected out of our race 1 winner. But really, it's up to our top 3 now to kind of drag away from Jack Noller and see what kind of a gap they can establish before, you know, really the inevitable this season happens of Jack Noller hunting them down.
Yeah, and just a word on the winners and losers on that lap 1. The big winners, Jordan Pinnock and Jack Noller, both gaining positions heavily in the top 10. And also Sam Knight, who's pushed himself up to P12. The big losers, though, however, have got to be Alex Hughes, who has dropped himself well back and continues to be struggling towards the back end of the field. Our timing's having a little bit of a moment, but we'll carry on regardless, as that appears to be a car in the pit lane. I'm not quite sure who that is, but certainly not where they intend to be. All the cars always fueled for the full race. No mandatory pit stops here in the Assetto Corsa, none of that pit stoppy nonsense. We like clean racing and pure racing the whole race distance.
But then I believe that is Jake Ansell exiting the pit lane after, I believe there was a bit of a spin on the opening lap for him. But yeah, Jack Noller up into 3rd place now after overtaking Kessus, puts the car between him and Aiden Larson as he looks down to chase Jordan Pinnock and then John B out in front. John B really beginning to extend the gap a little bit up to a 2nd. over Jordan Pinnock, but it really will only be a matter of laps, I would assume, before Jack Noller inevitably closes that gap, as there is a switch for positions between the two dress-up darling teammates. Aidan Larson, Josh Woolley running it too wide through turn 6 and turn 7.
Yes, very brave racing from these guys. Although Aidan's already lost the championship, he is still fighting for student class honours, and they're both fighting in the teams championships against Jack Noller's team, so they need to score points while some drivers are missing from the grid. There's contact between Woolley and Goldsmith multiple times. Not the clean racing we want, but it's definitely interesting. It's intense racing. It's door to door. They're really pushing as hard as they can. Championship considerations for Woolley are largely in eyes of supporting Aidan and also the team, so he can fight really a little bit freer than some of our other drivers. Raul Llagas up to the back end of the top 10 after a disappointing race 1. He'll be hoping to improve further as we see one of our Hugheses fighting against the black and orange car there. Couldn't quite identify it. We see Aidan Larson and Owen Goldsmith now running down the start-finish straight. There's a big old gap between the packs here. There's Bailey, actually. That's a very, very strong position from them to get up this high into the top 10 as they chase down Alex Hughes for 8th place.
Yeah, and Raul Llagas there dropping back a couple positions. It's been an unfortunate round for him, you know, winning a race, I believe, out at was it Lithuania Motorsports Park or Autopolis? But yeah, that was a very popular race win, as 3 wide down to the hairpin. That's very brave stuff, as Bailey gets almost tagged around there by Dystopian, I believe. As, yeah, maybe slightly too early on the brakes allowed everyone to get in front of them. But yeah, Jack Noller again, progress report up into 2nd place, only a second and a half now behind John B. And you have to look down 2 cars to find our next contender for the win in Aidan Larson and Josh Woolley, who are still going at it, as very creative interpretations from track limits there from Raul Llagas. Maybe maybe handing back some positions, maybe some technical difficulties, who knows. But yeah, in the simulator that shall not be named, that would be a big old slap on the wrist and a slowdown penalty.
Indeed it would. The Penske development driver of Bailey is still holding that top 10, but look who's behind. It's the team manager, Adam Bent. So will that play into things? I'm sure it won't do, because this is racing, and despite team orders being a thing, I'm sure that Bailey will fight as hard as they dare to keep that position. Now, the race already had 5 minutes passed as Jack Noller sets the fastest lap of the race to go nice and close behind John B. I'm sure John B will be starting to sweat just a little bit as we see Bailey running wide there. A track limits breach, I'm sure. But there we go. There's your gap. It's probably 4 or 5 car lengths now between leader and 2nd place, which I'm sure will only shrink as time goes on. No other moves further behind, except for this one between Josh Woolley and Aidan Larson. Woolley looking around the outside of Aidan Larson through what is technically turn 2 before they haul on the anchors into the hairpin of turn 3. There you go. Woolley up into 5th place, been released maybe to go and chase after Kessers and gain maximum points, because he is running a lot less ballast than any other cars.
And, you know, not to be playing a team manager and I suppose devil advocate to this racing, but the dress-up darlings duo really need to get a move on if they want to at all even have a sniff at challenging Jack Noller, because this squabbling is costing them a lot of time. And remember, they still have 2 cars of Kessers and Jordan Pinnock to get through before they reach our championship winner sat in 2nd place. And with a gap to him of about 2 seconds, they cannot afford to be fighting right now. And maybe this is just over pride within the team. They know that there's nothing that can be done for the championship, but you know, everybody wants the race win, and nobody want the double more than Josh Woolley around here.
Nobody would want it more indeed. He's had a rough season after missing rounds due to other commitments and due to a big crash taking him out of the running at Long Beach. But here we go, Jack Noller, one of the star of the season, your overall champion already with 3 races to go. He's looking around the outside of John B, a driver we've not seen too much of this season, but still a strong performer. They've had points across a couple of rounds, particularly strong at Oschersleben, so they've climbed up the championship board to 12th, and this would be massive points as they attempt to catch up to Dystopian, who is well outside the top 10, if they wish to fight over a top 10 overall finish towards the end of the year. But here we go. Woolley has already made a move on Kessers. Maybe that was a tactical manoeuvre between the dress-up darlings to release the pool man ahead of Kessers, the alien attack car there looking to make an attacking move after being passed down into turn 3. Later on the brakes for Woolley though, because he's running the racing line. Kessler's getting very close to the rear bumper, but not close enough to be a problem. And Woolley is through into 4th place. He now needs to go and chase down Jordan Pinnock if he stands any chance of a race win.
And Jack Noller, again, status report as we exit the turn 3 hairpin, is up into the lead of the race, put a swift one past John B there, and has already pulled that gap up to 5/10, 6/10 now. So yeah, he's been released. He's in a nice little bit of clear air, and it remains for Josh Woolley to dispatch John B and Jordan Pinnock as quickly as he dares, and then catch back up after Jack Noller. But you know, considering the pace similarity between the two, I'd say that's looking like a little bit of a tall order.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be difficult for these drivers. John B is going to be hanging on, or has actually already lost out, so he's going to be dropping now. Woolley looking back on this fight though with Kessers, Aiden and Owen Goldsmith, these guys fighting over 5th place, but what could become the podium if we start to see John B dropping further back, or mistakes from Woolley and or Pinnock. So always important to fight for track position. Anybody who knows anything about racing will know that as Woolley goes fastest with a 45.0, that's half a second clear on any of the cars ahead of him, and a second and a bit clear of Jordan Pinnock's last lap time. So that gap will come plummeting down, I'm sure, as we now look back to see Woolley running very wide there. A lovely meme on the roof of Jordan Pinnock's car, of the company he works for. As there we go, Jordan Pinnock now being chased by Josh Woolley down through the very subtle turn 2 towards the hairpin of turn 3. It's a bit like Austria in that turn 3 is actually the only is turn 2. But there we go, our top 4 within eye shot of each other. They all fit in with this lovely drone shot by Justin, our broadcaster, right now. So we've got the top 3 in shot now. Woolley just out of it. Jack Noller needs to pull out an advantage if he's to stop the rampaging sheep man himself, Josh Woolley, from claiming this win as we come up to the halfway mark.
Yeah, to be honest, Josh Woolley's pace is quite surprisingly, quite a bit faster than Jack Noller, which I wasn't really expecting to be saying going into this round. All credit to Jack Noller though, getting up into P1. But yeah, he's really going to have to start putting the laps in if he wants to pull out this gap for Josh Woolley, because that was half a second the previous lap, and let's see what sort of gap Josh Woolley can close this time around. But I'm sure his main focus right now will be getting past the Team Benson car of Jordan Pinnock, who, it must be said, has put on a few pretty decent defensive displays this season, but with the pace that Josh Woolley is showing, I think he's just going to let him through here as we come out of the final corner and on to the next lap of the race.
Yeah, Josh Woolley appears to have made the move there. He's pulling away under acceleration. His car running just very, very low to the ground, as all of our GR86s are. And into turn 1, the move is sealed. Woolley up onto the podium, running very deep. That is not the acceptable racing line there, Woolley. Naughty indeed from our BUSR overlord, as Jordan Pinnock has got the run on him down towards turn number 3. He's got the overlap now there, sort of door to door now as we go onto the brakes. Now there they go onto the brakes. Jordan with the inside line, he's going to just sweep back through as Woolley tries to hold it round the outside. He's left racing room on the outside, but they're now side by side. We're following them in the drone cam down towards turn number 4, 5 and 6. Fast left will give an advantage to Woolley, as will the slower left of 5, as will the slower left of 6. So Woolley definitely with the track position of desire there, as he just keeps it in the racing line. That's what skill will do. It lets you run an offline. But Jordan Pinnock, they throw with the switchback. Never mind, I should shut up and focus on the racing, as they're now side by side through 6. Coming into 7th place, Woolley now edging back ahead ever so slightly through the right-hander. There we go. Woolley now up into 3rd place again. And look, John B is going to be loving watching this battling behind. His lap time is roughly on pace with these guys if they keep battling. But I should imagine that if Josh Woolley gets free, he will close up to John B at a rather splendid rate given their lap time difference recently. We're under 8 minutes to go though, as Jack Noller begins to build his advantage over John B and then Josh Woolley. 4 J names in the top 4, just a little notice for you.
Yeah, that was some superb, respectful racing there between Josh Woolley and Jordan Pinnock. Really, really fair. Both kept it clean, and this is the sort of racing that we love to see out of these GR86s, these low downforce, high horsepower machines. As we look down into just outside the top 10, this is a three-way battle for 11th place, 12th place, excuse me, I believe. As yeah, you see the Rev Sport car in the background, and the Dress Up Darlings car at the front with a Raul Yagas filling in the middle of this sandwich. All three of these drivers not had a particularly good race, good evening so far. Is that Asher V spinning? Lovely camera shot, just to show the lovely pirouette there. But yeah, these drivers will be looking to pick up the pieces from maybe a weekend to forget for these guys.
Yeah, Ashby must have made contact with Adam Ben, would put that car around. No idea who was at fault, of course, that's not for us to decide. But Ben Gilroy running very, very deep. We've seen lots of drivers abusing the runoff area through turn 3. If you need to, it's there, but you really, really shouldn't do, as Raul Yagas now needs to start thinking about defending from the bread that is Jake Ansell. You see, it's sort of a bread-coloured car, you could almost argue, if it's a little bit toasted with some ketchup or jam on it. But up the inside he goes, running Raul Yagas to the absolute maximum that the track would allow the Filipino man. Looking around the outside of the Englishman now, they're side by side. Raul Yagas' turn now to run wide on the track limits, and just behind all of this wonderful racing is Bailey in 13th, but this is basically the battle for the back end of the top 10 now, as Ben Gilroy has got past Adam Bent, just appearing in that black, grey and yellow car. So Adam Bent now being monstered up by Jake Ansell as well. Adam had a bit of a season to forget after a strong performance in the touring cars last time out, but still going to be happier, sure, with his teammates' performances, particularly Jordan Pinnock, who's currently running in 4th.
And Josh Woolley out in P3, setting two session best lap times, excuse me, with the exception of the final sector where he lost some time. But yeah, it really looks to be putting some pretty neat laps together here to close up on John B and Jack Noller. And maybe if you can dispatch John B within the next couple of corners, he can really launch a charge to take this first place off Jack Noller. But it's going to have to be soon, because yeah, we know that Jack Noller can really switch the pace on, switch that Toyota on when he wants to.
Yes, Josh Woolley's been taking monster chunks out, so he's taken a second out of John B on the last lap, but is losing time to Jack Noller ahead. So this is very much looking like Jack Noller is going to romp away to a race win, but Josh Woolley is fighting for rest of the best. This would be John B's best finish of the season and one of his best of his BUSR career. So he is going to be fighting as hard as he can to keep the position as Woolley gets as close as he dares to the back bumper of Mr. Binder's car. A pair of P4s are John B's best results, and those were both at Oschersleben. So a track sort of similar, lots of long, continuous corners, really suiting John B's style evidently, as Woolley continues to close up. John not running any ballast, Woolley running 20 kilos, and then Jordan behind running 35, Aiden behind running 45. So the ballast is all in the wrong order for the top 5 cars, as Owen Goldsmith sort of rules the pattern with 25 kilos. But never mind, as John B, he continues his defence now. He's got 4 minutes to defend a 0.15 second gap as Woolley looks around the outside, bit eager. I reckon that one was probably never going to happen, but he's going to try it anyway. And running down the start finish straight, Jack Noller extends his lead even more on the last lap, as Woolley is looking to try and go around the outside into turn 1, or maybe he's just looking to try and get the undercut with the great run with a good run and a good slipstream down through turn 2 and turn into the turn 3 hairpin. They're side by side, the 88 and the 24 Toyotas, running identical power but different weights. Woolley has the outside line, he has the racing line. He's going to be later on the brakes than John B, who backs out wisely, just says, right, the move is yours, there you go Woolley, off you go, you can go and chase Noller if you want. And now John B needs to think about the Australian Larson behind if he wants to defend that maiden podium.
Yeah, and as we've seen so many times this race, squabbling very quickly leads you to fall into the clutches of the pack behind, and that's exactly what's happened here to John B. As it's not just Aiden Larson who he needs to defend from behind, it's a pack of 3 cars, Larson, Pinnock and Goldsmith, all who can really dethrone John B and take the last step on this podium. But with 3 minutes to go and probably 3 laps to go, it's going to be some tight racing for the final place on this podium.
Absolutely, it's what we love to see. The season's nearly over. We've only got one more round next week at Silverstone to come, but these guys are fighting like it's the first race of the season, or like this is deciding the championship. So really great racing from everyone involved. Mega happy to be watching this and honoured to be here as we see John B defending for his life for this podium, which would be an incredible achievement from the Team Penske 2 development driver. And there we go, Aiden Larson right up behind. Now he's looking around the outside. He's later on the brakes by maybe a fraction of a second, but thinks better of it and tries to get the switch back as we come onto the start-finish straight. 2 minutes and a bit on the clock. Looking at probably 2 laps, maybe 3, depending on where Nola was when he crossed the line. Now down towards turn 1 they go. John B is defending like a lion. The Australian of Aiden Larson cannot find a way past. They're separated by a car length, maybe less, maybe a small car length, like a mini. As we come down, the slipstream very much in effect. There we go. Aiden's got the overspeed. He darts out to the inside at the last possible second. He's going to be later on the brakes, I'm sure. He's going to have to be if he wants to make the move. And there we go. He's got the inside line. Just applies the power at the same point. There's side-to-side contact between the two of them. Not ideal. There was door banging, but both cars survive and come through cleanly. Aiden now up into third. The dress-up darlings cars both now on the podium. Ben Gilroy up into ninth. So a good recovery drive from their teammate, but Josh Woolley not closing the gap. Aiden now through. John B down into fourth place. Still would be an incredible haul of points for the driver from Hong Kong, but not as many as he'd like. He's having another look, but thinks better of it. Aiden runs deep. John B goes back through. Look who's there. Look who's arrived. It's Jordan Pinnock.
Yeah, fantastic stuff from these guys. And don't count Owen Goldsmith out of this. He's remaining in the back, ready to pounce if the opportunity arises, as we've seen so many times. As Aiden Larson getting up nice and close and friendly with that sausage curve there. And yeah, really, John B's doing an exceptional job here of putting in some really nice defensive lines. And really, we need to be looking for Aiden Larson, who has dropped off our timing tower, and John B is shuffled up in second. I'm not sure what's happened there. Oh, Josh Woolley, sorry, apologies, has dropped off our timing tower. I wonder what's happened to him.
Yes, Josh Woolley is out. He isn't appearing on the circuit. He's not even appearing in the pit lane. Josh Woolley is out of this race. That means that this is now the fight for second place. John B, he has been thrown up the order. The race clock ticking down. We've got 2 laps to go. Once the clock hits 0, we have got that plus 1 lap to go. 2 laps to go. Jack Nola leads by now a massive 8 seconds ahead of second place John B. Aiden Larson looking to score points for a team that has suddenly been wounded by the disappearance of Mr. Woolley. John B runs it deep in defence. Aiden sideways, he's off on the inside. Big twitch from the Dress Up Darlings car. He's off. Dress Up Darlings Day coming to a grinding halt in a colliding explosion there, with Josh Woolley dropping out. Aiden Larson spinning it basically on his own there. John B now got a nice breathing gap in second place. Owen Goldsmith up to third place with Jordan Pinnock. The Penske teammates are now third and fourth. It is a Penske organisation 2, 3, 4 for that team. So really strong points for both the first team and the second team, with Kessers and Alex Hughes in 5th and 6th. Now the Penske teammates, are we going to see more fireworks? The lead's got 2 laps to go, confirmed by the game. But these guys had contact in race 1. They've been close all season. They are sort of in this roughly the same area of the championship, both overall and in terms of class honours. So there is internal bragging rights. Will they put the team first and play it safe, or will they fight? We'll have to find out. So do not go anywhere for this thrilling end to the race.
I do have to think the stewards might view that one a little bit dimly. There was contact, bumper to nose, from Jordan Pinnock coming out of turn 3 with Aiden Larson, and Aiden Larson maybe a slight overcorrection on his part to just spin it onto the inside. But yeah, dreadful day there for the Dress Up Darlings, all in the space of just 4 kilometres of this Chang International Circuit. But really, if they're to battle, it would have to be on this lap, and they just have to make sure that Kessers doesn't take any opportunities as they did in round 1. But yeah, really, Jack Nola 10 seconds to the good out in front. We've seen that gap a lot of times before, but all eyes are drawn to the battle for third place between the 2 Team Penske teammates.
Yeah, Owen Goldsmith now showing has gone through. He is in the lighter of the 2 cars, teammates, but of course running slightly different liveries. Owen in the white car. There's side-to-side contact between the 2 of them there. Jordan Pinnock gets punted out wide. Owen Goldsmith goes through, but that allows Kessers to catch up. There is evidently very open racing rules at the Penske organisation as they're coming past this back marker, who gets very nicely out of the way, a little bit too out of the way, you could argue, on the grass there, but how very courteous of Darzai to get out of the way. As we see, Owen Goldsmith now leads this group from Jordan Pinnock. John B is going to be loving the carnage behind. We've only got 2 sectors to go. Jack Noller is 11 seconds clear. John B is a second clear of Owen Goldsmith. Jordan Pinnock is in 4th place. Kessers is still in 5th, but just out of shot. So it's going to be a fight between the Penske cars for the podium. Will we see Pinnock sneak through, or will Goldsmith hold out? Jack Noller's coming through onto the last penultimate straight now, but John B is there. Owen Goldsmith is going hell for leather to catch up. Owen is our defending alumni class champion, denoted by that green number 11 on the side of his car. John B is yet to score a podium this season. That's the level of drive that John B is putting on right now. He is showing all of the doubters. Jack Noller's won the race, but we don't care, as John B is going to come around the final corner and finish up as a BUSR podium man. He is going to be second best at Chang International Circuit. John B takes P2 behind Jack Championship winner already, Jack Noller, and then Jordan Pinnock 4th. Just ahead of Owen Goldsmith, who rounds out the podium. Kessers 5th, Alex Youth 6th. Aidan Larson recovers up to apparently P5. The timing sheet's having a little bit of a flick around there as people start to fall into the pit lane, but regardless, that is the end of the race. Raul Llagas, they're coming home disappointingly low for them. Adam Bent scoring a few nice points in 10th place. Maybe the timing is having a bit of a hissy fit. The results will be confirmed post-race and available on our Discord. Bailey in 11th place, strong finish from them after they dropped back at the start. But yes, that is the end of the race. We are done. Jack Noller is your championship winner. He is undeniably your champion. Sam Knight crosses the line in what I think is 14th. That will be points for him. So very strong performance for Sam Knight to get his first points of the season after a difficult year in his Toyota. But there we have it. Jack Noller with the race win, but arguably more importantly, John B with his maiden BUSR Assetto Corsa in the GR86 podium.
Yeah, and how often this season have we seen the driver on first place for the reverse grid come to the podium? I would say not very often at all. So really, John B has booked the trend of Jack Noller and co sidling through the field and occupying those podium positions. So yeah, great race from the driver from Hong Kong, and yeah, Owen Goldsmith as well, and Kessers. They have to be happy with this result. To be honest, like, it's been a exceptional weekend for both of them. But yeah, we saw some fairly more spread out and more dicey, let's say, action throughout the race, as opposed to in race 1, where it was all concentrated towards the end. But I will be very interested to speak to some of these drivers to see their takes on it in just a second.
Absolutely, we will be having interviews as always imminently once the drivers sort of have a little breathe, and then we can have a chat to them. So don't go anywhere if you wish to hear from the BUSR stars. We've only got one more round to go. I'll just do a quick plug of that before we get on with the interviews. It is next week, and we're off to the home of British motorsport and my sort of local circuit, Silverstone. We're going to be running the international loop, not the national triangle, not the full GP loop, the other one with the F1 pit straight. You come down through turns 1, 2, 3 of the F1 circuit, then you cut across at the loop, and you go down the hanger straight towards Stowe. So we're happy to have that. Same place, same time next week. We're going to have our first interview soon, and as he's had quite a while to breathe, I think we'll pull in Josh Woolley first. He got a student and an overall win in race number 1, but then struggled greatly in race 2 with a disconnect. Josh Woolley, let's focus on race 1 for now. Talk us through the win.
I mean, race 1 was quite fun. Waited up for Jack as well. It's a bit boring just to drive out by yourself. So, second and a half, easy enough to lose. And then it was a lovely battle with him. Lovely on the last lap. Good pace. But yeah, race 2 was interesting. Me and Aidan fighting on lap 2 was brilliant for teamwork. But also brilliant for the stream and great fun. But yeah, getting to 3 to go and deciding, or my internet deciding that existing is no longer something that it wants to do. Yeah, is just brilliant, and my usual luck, really, just my usual luck.
Head bottler indeed.
Yeah.
Well, Yeah, there's commiserations to your internet. Maybe need to go shout at Virgin Media a little bit uh, after that. But yeah, to focus on positive, first pole position of the season, it did come eventually, even if it was in the second to last race of the season, beating out Jack Noller. How did that feel?
Yeah, it was fun. It's sort of nice to actually be able to perform. I've sort of had the pace to beat him most of the season. Just never been able to put a clean race together or a clean run in quali. So nice to finally have a proper race with him without getting taken out. But yeah, definitely what could have been.
Yeah, commiserations, but congratulations on your race win. So let's focus on that one, I think. But yeah, I'm really happy to see you next time at Silverstone.
Perfect. Cheers, guys.
Thank you, Josh. Our next interview will be with, we're going to have to save the champion for last. So I guess it's going to have to be our man of race number 2, John B, will be coming to speak to us. John, let's cut to the chase. Podium position. It must feel amazing.
Honestly, I did not expect to finish where I was.
So yeah, you started reverse grid on pole position and then only lost on our overall 1 position. That's pretty much the first time we've seen that all year. How did you manage it?
Honestly, it was kind of like a ticking time bomb. I knew Jack, is it Jack? Yeah, Jack was going to be way faster than me, and it was only a matter of time before he was going to end up past me. It feels like I kind of got donated the podium as well. I think Josh kind of disconnected, and I think Aiden had a moment at T2, I think. But overall, I'd say it was well fought.
This circuit, as we were mentioning a couple of times on broadcast, is very heavily used for motorbike racing and not really used much in car racing. So, was this a new track to you? How did you go about learning it, if so?
It was a new track, to me. I would say. I think I got on practice maybe 2 hours before the session started, and I had a friend of mine basically help me out because he's used to MotoGP and he was more familiar with the track than I was.
That's great to hear. And then once again, congratulations on your podium. We hope to see you back here in the very near future. So congratulations, John.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. One interview to go, and there's only one man it could be. It is Jack Noller, of course. He is your BUSR Summer Series champion. He's basically sealed the Alumni Championship as well with those results. Race 2 winner, podium in race 1. Day of days, championship sealed. You must feel amazing.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. It's nice to have a fight with Josh. We've sort of been not finding each other on track all season, one way or another. So it was good to have a go at that. And it was just a bit too quick today in race 1. Just I had to give everything to stay in the toe down the straights and try and do that. But a couple of mistakes brought him back to me, and I had to have a go on the last lap. Why not? Dirty air through that left kink was actually quite significant, so it was difficult to stay close to there, but gave it best shot. Nicely to him to leave a space when I came craning down the inside, but yeah, made it slightly interesting. And then race 2 just had a better start, got through the grid a bit better, and then unfortunately Josh had a connection issue, which seems to be in line with the one I've been having all week, which I got fixed 1 hour before the race start. So we tried so many different things and eventually got it sorted. So I don't know whether this track is corrupting some people's network drives on their computers. So that's what happened to me, and seemingly is what happened to Josh. So interesting. Maybe not worth going back to Taiwan or whatever this is.
And we've spoken a lot this season about the ballast, obviously the competition ballast. How much did that come into play around here? I noticed there's quite a lot of long straights. We saw it in Snetterton where it was a bit hard to keep in the toe, but from your racing driver's point of view, how much did that affect things?
Compared to cars without it, around here it's probably the biggest one of the season so far. Probably not far off a second a lap, because you saw Jake and Owen, they're quick, but they were in practice 2 tenths off us. So it was really, really close. And Owen had some ballast on himself still, but Jake had nothing. So when I was racing John like I was in the tow completely and couldn't catch. So took a mistake. But yeah, Josh had obviously a 30 kg advantage on me in weight, so I had to give everything in the corners to keep up with him and just let him run away with his little legs down the straight. So the tow helps me out there, but I think Silverstone will be similar. It's going to be interesting with Touchwood, Adam Sparrow, and Luke Pullen returning, and they'll both have weightless cars. So that's going to be a challenge. But with them both hopefully returning, we can hopefully get back in the fight and stake a claim to the team's championship, because that's what's remaining. We were 50 points ahead, the three of us, compared to Dress Up Darlings. Obviously, they've had quite a strong round, and I've only been me. So they'll definitely be ahead going into the last round, and it's going to be you've got a lot of maths to do to calculate 6 cars over 2 races and 1 qualifying session.
Yes, I do not envy the people that tell us these numbers, because sure as heck me and Tom ain't going to do them. But thank you very much, Tom, and for Tom to speaking. Not sure why I was thanking Tom just yet, but thank you, Jack, and congratulations on the championship.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And just a shout out before I go, my wife was watching this time, so hopefully that was a good luck charm for race 2. So and she was in the chat. So shout out to Rookshire right there. So love you.
Thank you, Jack. And thank you to Tom as well for joining me for this round of the season. We have now coming to the end of our stream. We've only got 1 race left to do next week at Silverstone, so that will be a nice and fun one. Thank you to our broadcast team for running the stream. Thank you to all of our viewers and all of our drivers. And Tom, have you got any final thoughts?
Yeah, really looking forward to the Silverstone round is the only thing that I've got left to say. Hopefully it's going to be fireworks, very familiar track for a lot of our drivers, and yeah, can't wait to be here same time next week.
Exactly. So it's good night from everyone here, and see you next week.